Is the DLC for Nancy and Danny that's worth $10 a piece worth the money? The answer is no. I'm just joking. There's a lot to unpack here. I'm going to go over my honest opinion on the new DLC, the map, and all the fixes that came with this patch. Let's get started.
Campfacer.
What's going on, campers? Campfacer here. Welcome back to another Texas Chainsaw Massacre the game video. Today we're going to dive into my initial thoughts and my honest opinion, what I like, what I don't like. We're going to talk about if it's really worth the money to purchase the characters, Danny and Nancy, and we're going to go over some ideas and things that I wish could change possibly. But these are all just my opinions, and you guys all know opinions are like assholes. Everyone's got one and they all stink. But hey, if you like what you see here and you're new to the channel, please subscribe, and I thank you. So let's dive into this. To start off, we have Nancy's new house map. And all I have to say, right off the bat, friggin' hell yes. This map is delicious. You guys, this map is awesome. I love how it's in the daytime to start, because it does say Nancy's house map daytime. So does that mean there possibly could be a nighttime map coming? I wouldn't assume so, because if it were to come to the game, it would be really hard. That brings me to talk about how big this map is. It's good that it's big, but it's bad that it's big, because if you're a victim, you have so many places to hide, which is really good. There's so many bushes, obstacles to work around, to loop the family. You got the basement, you got the garage, you got the man cave, you got the upstairs inside the house, which is pretty big. A lot of doors, a lot of bedrooms. You have the front yard, which is pretty big. A lot of things to hide like the bushes, the flower patch. You got the side of the house driveway, the dirt driveway that goes down, which is incredible. I love it. Excuse me, I still have a little bit of a cold, you guys. When you're going down that dirt driveway, it feels like you're really walking through like dried up, dusty dirt, and you can see the tire tracks and stuff. That's the lighting and everything about that is incredible. You have the backyard, which is basically the junkyard, and inside the backyard you have sheds, shacks. You have a few wells to jump down. The house is huge. There's a lot of real estate to cover there. That being said, if you're playing family, it's a bitch until you learn it. It's going to be a bitch. You got to really take it all in and make sure you're memorizing where things are located. And it's going to be hard to catch the victims at first on that map, but I'm sure pretty soon, once you guys get it all down, it's going to be a lot of fun. I personally like it. I give the map a 9 out of 10. There's some things that, maybe it's a little bit much, but overall, I love the new map. I kind of wish that it came in rotation a little bit more, because I'm finding myself with this new DLC that just dropped yesterday. I'm playing more on the older maps than I am on Nancy's house map. And we've been there for the past 2.5, 3 months or whatever it is. We don't want to keep playing the gas station or the house map. We want to play Nancy's house. I kind of wish that Gunn could dial it up a little bit more and make it so we could jump into Nancy's. Everybody wants to play the new map. No one really cares right now to play the older maps. But at the same time, there's new updates that came along with this patch that make the old maps fresh. Like having no Leatherface and having the sliding door on the back of the slaughterhouse. You can now put a padlock on that. And at the slaughterhouse, they moved the pressure valves upstairs outside. So that makes those maps fresh again. It makes it fun. And I get to see if they're balanced or not, which really, I played a few matches on the slaughterhouse as family. And I will say Gun Interactive did it right there. They nailed it. They balanced it way more than it was before. Instead of the match playing as family, starting up, and me playing goalie from the beginning of the match to the end of the match, it was more like a hunt. It made it more like a cat and mouse fun experience. It lasted about 10 to 15 minutes. Whether I caught people or they escaped, it felt fresh and it felt realistic, like a horror movie experience. So by them moving the valve upstairs outside, putting the sliding door where you can put a padlock on there, and a few other adjustments, it made the game feel more like a hunting horror experience. So I really liked that aspect of the little tweaks and balances they put into the game on this patch. They nailed that. Back to Nancy. Let's talk a little bit about the character Nancy. First off, I love the way she looks. They did a great job on her design, the dress, the movements of her dress when she's swinging and running and jogging. I think it's incredible looking. The voice lines are brutally disturbing and awesome. It's all that I imagined that an older lady brutal killer would act and sound like in the game. Now, the way she swings her garden hoe with that spike on the back is awesome. Some of the kills, I love how she just does over and over. It's so brutal how she's bent over in that dress because, she's an old lady, some of the kills that she does, though, I have to say, Gun's got to fix and tune them up a little bit. Some of them are a little janky, and they're not really delivering inside the skin. It's kind of like they're kind of like the animation of it's off. There's something a little bit off about some of those kills. I'm sure they're going to see that, and they're going to tweak some of those kills. Now, what I do have to say, I love Nancy's ability to be able to see through the eyes of a victim. And what I like the most, excuse me, is when you're doing that ability, you don't really see what's going on exactly. It's all psychedelic and distressed looking, but you kind of see through the eyes of the victim, and you might pick up on something like, oh, wait a minute, I saw some cans that look kind of like a basement. You guys, I think they're in the basement. So it's kind of like you're playing charades or Where is Waldo style with that ability, and I kind of like that. The guessing game with that ability makes that so exciting, like you just won the lottery. Like, oh, they're over there. Or I think they're in the grass. I can't really tell, but now you got to go over there. But a lot of people are saying, oh, I think that might be a little overpowered. But you guys, that's definitely not overpowered, because if you think about this, when you use that ability and you think you know where they're at, by the time you go over there or you send somebody else over there, they're not going to be there for the most part. So that's definitely not OP. Now the cook, when he hears you and he pings you, that's a little more OP than Nancy's ability, in my personal opinion. So I really like her ability. I do think the cooldown takes a little too long, but I haven't played her enough, and I'm sure the more you level her up, you're gonna get different ways to build that ability. I also like Nancy's trap. Her barbed wire trap she places between gaps or doorways and so on. Excuse me. What I don't like about the traps, and I really hope Gun fixes this or maybe changes it, but who knows? I don't like the fact that, one, that family members can walk through it and destroy it. And I'll tell you why, because I was at the gas station map last night. I was playing. I was in the house right next to Grandpa. You take that left into the doorway. The fuse box that's all the way to the back left. There was no hitchhiker to put a trap in front of the fuse box. So I put a barbed wire trap in one of the doorways leading from Grandpa's big room to the hall there. And then I put the next one, the doorway leading into that room. So there's two wire traps there. Now the cook and Leatherface kept running through them, and I told them, hey, you guys, I'm putting these here. Watch out. You're breaking them. They ended up breaking those barbed wire traps about 7 or 8 times, and then I just said, you know what? I'm done with putting them there. Whatever. If they get to the fuse, they get to the fuse. Now, I don't agree with them breaking them, because when you're a hitchhiker and you put the traps down, somebody steps over the trap as a family member, it doesn't destroy the trap, so why should the barbed wire be broken? I understand that it's realistic because the barbed wire is up a little higher, like shin high, but just let the family walk through it like an invisible thing. Because for me to keep resetting the barbed wire over and over, it's taken away from me doing other more important things in the game. And it's a very big nuisance. And you don't even get alerted that they break. And I have to go over and check on them to see if they're broken or not. So that's one thing I don't like. I wish they would make them invisible. And then the second thing I don't like is you're very limited to where you could place those barbed wire traps. There was next to the fuse box in that room, there's a bed and there's a dresser and there's a gap between there. So why can't I put one side on the dresser and one side on the bed and put the trap across there? I think you should be able to put the barbed wire trap in more places in the game. Like not just doorways or gaps. You should be able to place them if there's an object, another object, as long as it's not like a 10-foot span. Maybe like a limit it to like a 5 to 6 foot span, but more places like that in the environment that you could just lock one side on the other side and place it. That would be more fun, and you could surprise attack more people that way. There's too many predictable spots that they are going to know there's going to be barbed wire, which is just a gap or a doorway. Please let us put them in more spots. That would be amazing. More fun to play her if you could do that. 100%. So that's my what I like about Nancy and what I don't like about Nancy so far. I have to put some more hours into her, obviously. What else do I want to talk about? Oh, the valve. We already talked about the valve being moved, the pressure valve. Really good balance, and the fact that the family can now shut it off and it resets back to 0 again. That definitely helped the balance big time, because now victims aren't going to want to play that whole rush meta with the valve over and over again. So that balanced it out a hell of a lot more. And now it feels more of a hunt just with that being fixed. The noise in the game when you're a victim, I had a lot of fun playing victim, by the way, with that noise being more like, all right, we got to be more stealthy now, because when you hit into the bone charms or go by a nugget or slam a door too hard or whatever, now that noise ping follows you and it slowly fades away. And that is a big game changer, because not only do the family see it more because it's following you, they're seeing the direction that you're going in. So it helps the family get an idea of like, oh, they're not only did I just see where the noise is coming from, now I got a sense of direction of where they're going. You know, they might be heading towards that gate because that's the direction the noise was moving towards. That was a lot of fun. I like that change a lot. I don't find anything wrong with it. I like it. I do think the 1 minute until the abilities is a little too, it needs to be a little bit longer in the basement, but it's not that big of an issue. No more leather faces in the game. I really like that, because I like it, but I don't like it. I like it because now when you're up against, if you're a victim and you see there's no leather face, now it's even on an older map, now it feels more like a whole different ball game of a video game's experience. Like, oh, there's no Leatherface, so we can take our time in the basement, get ready, and kind of get those doors open, and then go for it. And now we know there's 2 slow people upstairs. We got the cook and Nancy. They run like old people. Oh, wait a minute. They are old people with bad backs. So now we can... Now you know what you're up against, and it might be easier to do certain things on certain maps. So it's a whole different ball game of an experience, and I like that. It makes it more fresh, more fun to play these older maps again, because, you know, we got a whole different team we're working against. I like that. Now the new gate at the gas station, I think that was a really good game changer, and it balanced both door exits equally at the gas station. So now if you're going to do the front door, by the time you unlock, there's a main gate you got to unlock, and then you go through the other door and you got to unlock the door itself. So now you got two doors to unlock, opposed to one after you get through the 2 main gates that lead to the gas station. And you got the wooden door and then the gate. So now it's like, oh, you could kick the gas compressor off, the generator off, and then you have to unlock the other gate. So it's like those two exits there at the gas station are kind of like equally like balanced. So now it's like pick and choose. What one do you want to go out? The generator or the front door? Everybody was choosing the front door before, and they were skipping out on the generator because if you're going to do generator, you're just screwing yourself over. So now it's kind of like pick and choose. I like that little balance change there. Worked out pretty well. Let's talk about Danny. I have not purchased Danny yet, but I've seen him played and I heard about him and I've seen what he can do. And Danny tampering with the exits, doing his ability to break the exit objectives, like the battery or the compressor generator. And he makes it so that you can't turn it back on as a family member for a long time. That is a good change. That's a good little perk for him, ability. But to be honest, not too many people are going to do that when they're turning something off just to run out the exit anyways. Unless he's alone at the slaughterhouse at the battery, he shuts the battery off and he tampers with that battery and then he leaves and he escapes. Now he knows his fellow victim teammates have a chance to get back there without the family turning the battery back on. That's the only way that would come into play. I think that would work out really well. Other than that, I think he runs pretty fast. He seems pretty cool. I think he looks really his character looks a lot like Vincent DeSanti from Womp Stomp Films, Never Hike Alone fan made films. Vincent DeSanti looks a lot like Danny. Hey, if he's watching, hey, hell, props to you, bro. Are you getting paid for that, Vincent? Anyways, I think that's my initial thoughts and opinions. Is this new DLC and content and the characters worth the $10? In my personal opinion, hell yes. A lot of fun. Just to have an extra thing in the game, it's worth it to me. I know a lot of people aren't into paying the $10, but if you're on the fence about it, I would say go for it. I think it's a lot of fun and a cool thing to have in the game, and you're just supporting a great video game company such as Gun and Sumo. And if you're into horror movies and you want to keep this genre alive, just keep playing the game. Tell your friends, and instead of like being like one of those people out there hating on every second of something because you don't agree with it, be positive about it, because the more we have, the more positive that comes into Texas Chainsaw, and we play it and we show companies out there that these games are awesome, the more we're going to get. The more we complain about them and trash on them and hate on them and don't play them anymore because you can't get something you wanted, then it's just going to die out after a while. And then you're not going to get any more horror movie game from other companies. So I just have to say this new patch was really great so far. There's not too much to really nitpick, but I do love it. I do love Nancy's house map. I love the characters. I love the changes in the game. Yeah. And that's it for today. If you like what you see here, let's have a conversation. Leave a comment down in the comment section below. Let's have a discussion. And I will see you guys in the next video. And as always, campers, stay out of the woods. Okay. So you can't go up here unless you shut off the generator. She just got electrocuted. Come on, Nancy. You're an old lady. All right.
Oh, maybe that's who I heard scream. I was going to say I heard somebody scream.
All right.
Somebody's kicking it. Somebody's kicking it.
They're kicking it?
I got Danny.
Maybe I'll show it to you.
He's going to the back of the house right now.
Yeah, I see Danny. Oh, Connie's out the front door. She's going back in the house. Man, these victims are already like learning the map already, bro.
Don't you
judge me. All right, I got Anna back here at the back porch.
Yeah, can I barbed wire the front door? How come I can't put barbed wire somewhere like this? That's ridiculous. Come on. If you're going to give us ability to do something like this, Gun, they should be able to put it here. Should be able to put it. I only get 3 of them. I mean, come on.